We drink tequila. We talk.
Welcome to Team Tequila Talks.
I know that there's documented history. I can believe that that's all a myth, urban legend. Everybody cheers. We always cheers carefully over the equipment. Cheers from New York and Los Angeles.
Salud.
Tropical. Everybody, welcome to Team Tequila Talks. Your host, Cassandra Amell and Gonzalez, and our very special guests. I think these are the most special guests that we have had. You may have heard of these two actors, Rick Gonzalez and Stephen Amell. You two have worked together, haven't you?
We have. And also, I'd just like to say, it's about goddamn time.
Yeah, I agree.
We have a very exclusive booking policy.
We book a few weeks out, you know? People like to drink tequila, they like to talk.
My daughter's upset that she's not on this show, so you're going to have to deal with her.
Okay.
I think I can handle the 9-year-old. Bring it.
Possibly.
Well, we had our cheers. We start off every episode with a cheers here at Team Tequila Talks. Sherry, what are we drinking?
We are drinking a Passionfruit Margarita. So it's like 1,000 degrees. It's like the hottest it's ever been in New York. And I remember when you guys were in Atlanta, it was like the hottest it's ever been in Atlanta. And so I was like, I need something cold, refreshing, but a little fruity, a little like fruity booty. So, and Rick is from Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. So I thought, something. And Rick loves, what is that drink you love with the passion fruit, but it has like the whiskey in it?
It's the whiskey smash.
He loves a whiskey smash, which uses also like passion fruit. So I thought, let me just do a tequila version of a whiskey smash. There's a little bit of ginger beer in here. There's a little bit of lime or lemon. There's some Angostura bitters, and it's just nice, refreshing, not too heavy, and it cools the heat
It's a
without
little
putting
fruit
hair on
punchy.
your chest.
I have to say, we use the same recipe, obviously, on different coasts right now, but I would say a little fruit punchy. I'm getting fruit punch vibes without the full childhood Kool-Aid effect where you feel like you're just drinking syrup. Or like a powdered. What are the, did you ever have Fun Dips as a kid? How awful those are. I mean, I don't think, those shouldn't still be around, but I mean,
They shouldn't.
They should not.
No,
they're
it's like
around, but
what Stephen did.
They're only around in those specific candy shops that you can go to in small towns. Like up in Walla Walla, there's a shop. It's just candy.
We had those in
right.
Brooklyn too.
Right, but you're not finding it at the corner store anymore like you did when we were kids.
So they had Fun Dip in Canada. They allowed Fun Dip in Canada. That just seems like a no to me.
Are you thinking of Pixie Sticks? Similar, different.
No, I know Pixie Sticks. I know precisely what Fun Dip is. I know exactly what it is because I would always get impatient. I would eat the Fun Dip stick because that was the best part of it. That was the candy, and then I just pop the candy into my mouth like that.
Yeah.
That looks very inappropriate on video, but there we go.
You know what? That's okay.
We're gonna get there,
Sometimes
Stephen.
we get
Don't
inappropriate on Team Tequila Talks. That happens. Okay, so we like to cover our clean drinking recipes. What makes this clean is that we are going to use the freshest possible fruit. Understanding that, passion fruit can be kind of tough to find in the summer, but what we're trying to avoid is artificial colors, artificial dyes, and added sugars. There's 0 added sugars in ours over here.
0 added sugar, and I think people will be surprised that passion fruit is the least in, like, very low in calories. Only 17 calories in one whole passion fruit and 4 grams of sugar.
And it's a really potent fruit. It's got a lot of flavor in it, so you don't necessarily need a ton of it.
No, it's low glycemic, it's rich in antioxidants, good source of fiber, boosts the immune system, insulin. It improves insulin sensitivity, supports heart health, and reduces anxiety. So I feel
like all those things.
Mm-hmm.
What better to go with some tequila than some reduction of some anxiety?
So I really like the seeds of passion fruit. Those, and you bite down on them and they're a little tangy, and that is, for some people, that is a very you are in or you are out, just like boba tea, tapioca. It kind of similar vibes. It's a texture thing. It's a, do you want something bulbous in your cocktail?
I don't fuck with fruit that goes past a certain point, just because I can handle watermelon, but I had an incident where just like the texture of melon, it makes me gag. It's like I'm eating an old carpet. Like I hate it, and so I don't get adventurous with other fruits if they're not hard and firm. I'm out. With the exception of hard and firm, the apples, grapes, strawberries, blueberries, bananas, maybe. But I stay on a pretty narrow laneway when it comes to fruit. But passion fruit in a drink, sure. Anything in a drink, sure. Melon of any type, yeah, great. Tart stuff, great. But individually as fruit, no.
See, how you feel about that is how I feel about what is it? Goat cheese.
No, really?
Rick hates goat cheese. He thinks it smells like what? What does it taste like?
It's like dirty socks.
Yeah.
Like you're eating dirty socks.
Yeah, I'm that way with blue cheese, but Cass has got me on the goat everything, goat mozzarella, goat, all that
Cheddar,
stuff.
the raw goat, all of that stuff is a bit. You just gotta use it correctly, you know.
But I'm not sure.
I do.
I'm not sure
Rick,
if
I think I've snuck it into your food at some point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Really?
I
Oh, for
think that
sure.
at some point I've been like, this is
How
this
dare
is
you.
regular cheese, and it was probably like a goat cheese pizza. Just saying.
No.
I can't remember a specific time, but I feel like I probably made something and you ate it afterward, and you were like, "This is amazing," and I just didn't tell you it was goat cheese. That's a very real possibility. I can't say for certainty that I did that, but it sounds like something that I would do.
I don't like that.
I've tried my best. The cheddar, the soft one, he's just like smells like dirty socks, and I'm like, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. Sherry, what type of tequila did you use over there?
Okay, so I know I told you Blanco, but we only had mezcal, so we are sipping some mezcal.
I did
with
the
this specific
same.
one.
This is mezcal over here from our friends over at Casamigos, and love Casamigos. Obviously, we are super huge fans of them. And the reason that I specifically chose their mezcal, first of all, I loved our last episode where we really did a bit of a deep dive onto mezcal, and have sort of been riding that kick. But Casamigos' mezcal specifically is pretty punchy. And so I feel like the sweetness of a passion fruit, despite the fact of it being lower sugar, relatively speaking, lower calorie, it still has a really strong flavor to it. And I feel like the smokiness of a strong mezcal is a really good balance to the sweetness and the tartness of the passion fruit and the lime and the ginger that we're using in here too.
Same. I mean, Rick's not a big mezcal guy, so that's why I was like, but he likes whiskey smashes. So I thought, you know what? You like this though.
No, but it's good. I like it. It's good.
That is something that I think people are really intimidated by mezcal. They think that it is going to be too much, too intense, too scary. But mezcal, when done correctly, can actually be a really fun beverage.
Yeah.
It's a gateway. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a gateway.
You can get drunk easy.
Why is that the
Sure,
goal
if
when you're
that's your
drinking
goal.
mezcal?
Well, I mean, maybe not drunk, just like, nice. It's like we like to say, you want to get
Loose.
nice.
That's tequila.
Sure, loose. That's tequila in general. I feel
Yeah.
like it's a bit of an upper. Well, we have a special treat, especially for those people watching us on YouTube when this gets up. We thought since we have a husband's episode, we would play a little bit of the Newlywed Game.
Oh.
It's a classic. Have you guys seen the old school 1950s? Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum,
70s.
Newly, was it
70s.
70s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
70s,
so.
yeah.
In,
Did
live
you
in
say the
Technicolor.
50s?
Yeah, that was like
Yeah,
the 50s.
she's
Did I
off
see
on
that?
that
I
by a
don't
couple
know.
of decades.
I
So,
wasn't alive
guess
then.
what? Well, all three of us do. It was the 70s and the 80s.
It's got like 50s vibes to it. It's retro vibes. Okay,
Well,
I'm
I don't
wrong.
think-
You're just wrong.
I'm
Stop.
wrong.
Just get
I'm
off.
wrong.
Get
Yeah, I
off
don't
the
think-
hill. Get off that train. It's the 70s.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
I don't think women were allowed in the 50s to play
No,
this
To
game.
be on television?
No,
Oh, my
no.
goodness.
It's like
Now
late
we're
70s, 80s. for
Okay,
sure.
so here's how this game is gonna work. So we're gonna take some turns here. We're gonna have our first round, second round on both sides, and I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna read off some questions to Rick and Sherry, and it's gonna be something like, "What's Sherry's favorite color?" And Sherry's gonna write down her favorite color. Rick is gonna write what he thinks Sherry's favorite color is. And Rick's gonna turn it over, and then Sherry's gonna turn hers over, and we're gonna see if it lines up. So that's gonna be round one. We're gonna dive into it. We're not gonna use favorite color because that's not a ton of fun. That was just a good example. But given that this is Team Tequila Talks, let's start with what is Sherry's favorite cocktail? This should be a pretty easy one, I feel like, to kick things off.
Sure.
Yeah.
While you guys are writing it down, I'd just like to point out that any of those video games, the game shows that we're talking about from the 70s and the 80s, if you were to watch them right now, the HR department would halt them by the first commercial break.
I think so. I
Just-
think that those don't hold up very well, do they?
No, they don't.
What are
There's
some-
a lot of unsolicited touching and just off-color jokes. And it was the 70s and the 80s. What are you going to do?
Not the
True.
50s.
Not the 50s. No, not the 50s.
All right, Rick, do you have a thought for us over there? Sherry's favorite cocktail. He's still thinking. Let's see it. Sherry's favorite cocktail. Anything with
gotta read
tequila
it.
or champagne. Anything with
I put
tequila or
margarita.
champagne. Yeah, well, there's okay. So we'll count that as a win because a margarita has tequila. Although that was a very broad guess, Rick,
Well,
and I think we're
but
gonna
you
have
gotta-
to fine tune
she-
it a bit.
Well, the other night I did pour champagne in my tequila. I was like
Oh.
experimenting with like a champagne top
That's
off.
like our very Mexican 75 that we did
Yeah,
on
so
our
I feel like-
UK episode.
And she definitely likes to. She had her champagne phase, and that was like the go-to. So
Yeah, and I mix them now,
Yeah.
which is actually quite refreshing, I
Yeah.
will say.
Okay, so what is Rick's favorite cocktail then? And while you guys are writing that down, Stephen, what do you think some of the game shows back in the day, we're talking about them not holding up, what are some that would just not fly today?
Well, I think that the best example is the difference between Family Feud back in the 70s and the 80s and Family Feud, which is still running today. It's just the difference.
Different format?
It's the same format. It just was just much looser and easygoing. There was Hollywood Squares too, which would have it. There would be celebrities there, but there'd be at least one of them that would just be shit canned the entire time. I don't know. It was just everyone's smoking on TV. It's just I don't know. It was just different. And by the way, in a lot of ways better because it as opposed to making sure that people didn't see any of that stuff. Parents actually had to explain to their kids, no, that's an adult joke.
Yeah.
Well, and also kids were allowed to listen to, I want to say this, I watched an old episode of Family Feud and the host went around to one of the families and kissed everyone on the lips.
On the lips.
yeah,
That's
you can't
stuff
do
that I'm
that.
talking about
That's
right
not
there.
COVID friendly.
On the lips.
The lips.
Wow.
Okay,
Every woman he saw was on the lips. Yes. Okay, so
Just
Rick's
lips.
favorite drink is a margarita for sure.
Really? Yours
Margarita.
too? Okay,
All
look
right.
at that. I kind of thought, Rick, that you were more of a whiskey person in general. I mean, I've seen you drink a margarita or two, but I didn't think that was your go-to.
I only order margaritas.
Rick could be at a wine bar and ask for margarita. That's a true fact.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is you're gonna we're just to move it along and save the environment and save paper. I'm gonna ask you guys both the question, and on the top you're gonna write for Sherry, and on the bottom you're gonna write for Rick, and we're gonna reveal both at the same time. So, which Disney character are you? You know, one game that I think that doesn't hold up, or I guess it's just more practical in real life now, would be, you remember the mystery date game where there's just one person on one side of a wall and then three other people, and you kind of just have to ask them questions. You don't get to see them, and then you go on a date with them. Isn't that all of MTV now, though? Am I wrong?
Didn't Netflix have it where you just have to get married, like
Oh my
blind
God.
marriage and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Holy smoke!
Yes.
Was it Love is Blind?
No,
Or
Love
it
is
the-
Blind is
I
when
don't
you
watch any
Love
of
is
that
Blind
shit.
is when you meet someone and that you don't know and you have to propose to them, but you get to talk to them for like a week and then you propose. And then the one he's talking about is like 90 Day Fiance, right? Where you just like marry them off the spot and then like make it work.
Well, I guess the
Are you
mystery
ready?
date is kind of
Yeah.
like The Bachelor
Okay,
now.
so
Okay, Disney
for
characters.
me, yes, Disney character Sherry is Jasmine, 100%, because I'm a little nice, but also a little spicy. And Rick is going to be Aladdin because he's just kind of like adventurous and kind of like, I don't remember they called him like a really derogatory word that now I think Disney, they call him like a street rat.
Street
Remember?
rat.
Have you guys remember Aladdin? Remember Aladdin?
Riff-raff.
They're like, he's a street rat. He was like,
by that.
no, I'm
Yeah.
not. But Rick can make it work. We could be in the depths of like any type of like grimy situation, and Rick is like street smart, but then he can like put on a suit and clean up nice.
And
They should,
Aladdin loves Jasmine. Let's
yeah.
not forget that.
They should make a live action
Well-
Aladdin. See how that goes.
They should.
They should
Okay.
get Will Smith as the genie. And
Yeah.
Rick.
see what happens.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think she's Maleficent because she's powerful and
Oh,
misunderstood.
Shit. That's a good explanation, though. That could have gone
She's
poorly.
powerful and misunderstood.
Yeah, I like it.
Maleficent.
I'm gonna go with it.
And I think I'm the snowman from
Olaf?
Frozen?
From Frozen.
That's
I'm Olaf.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know that.
Magical. I make people happy.
That's true. You're pretty
I'm
funny.
Fun.
You're really funny. I've seen your comedy stuff. I think you're really funny. Well, on the note of like modern reality shows, okay, this is our last one of this round for you guys. What reality show should you be on? Any reality show. I feel like there is like you don't even say your favorite right now because I don't want to influence their decision in any way.
I'm
want
writing
like.
down options.
Are you writing down options? But you know what? We're not going to have the same questions.
I know, but I'm just gonna go.
You just want to share with everybody what your answers would be for me? Okay. Well, what
Yeah.
Disney character would I be?
Well, I know what I wrote down, so you tell me the answer.
Ooh. gosh, I don't really think about it.
Quick.
Oh my God. Belle?
No, I wrote down Ariel.
Okay.
Okay. And then when it came to reality shows, I wrote down which one would you pick?
Did not say America's Next Top Model.
No, why would I say that? I didn't say that.
Been there, done that.
What do you think I wrote down?
I hope it's something where I use my brain.
Oh, I wrote down Fuckboy Island. Sorry.
You did
that's
not.
My bad. I did. I did. But that was a joke. That was meant to be a joke.
I love that one though. That's a really we watched that one.
Yeah, I came home one night to Cass watching that. I
With
can't remember-
Sherry.
Yeah. And I was just like, what the fuck is this, guys? Get out of
Okay,
here.
what
with this.
reality show would you guys be on? Hopefully it's not F-Boy Island.
For Sherry, I put Beverly Hills Housewives because I know you wrote that down.
Definitely wrote Real Housewives.
Okay.
I would be on Housewives.
Yes, Rick
You
would be
two
on
would be on
with me.
Housewives.
I'd be on Housewives.
And I wrote Real World for Rick. If there was, is that around?
I feel like it is relevant to anybody that is listening, even if it's not still currently on. I think that's relevant. I would say Steven would be on Survivor. I feel like
Oh,
that's
yeah. No,
that's
that would
It's
that
a
would have been your
given.
Or
answer
do you know
for
what?
the
Go ahead,
question.
Cassandra and
answer.
Steven, I would say you guys Amazing Race because you guys would fucking win the 10 million.
I
No,
would crush that show.
You would crush it as long as only one of us was in charge of directions at one time.
I
Because if-
volunteer me.
Yeah, well, you can
Be
volunteer
great
that's fine,
television.
or me. Just
I would
can't be,
watch
it can't
that.
be both of us because we'd be stuck at the airport in the first episode for the duration of the season.
Well, I think Cassandra with the directions, and then you with how to get through
The
those
execution?
directions.
All right.
Yeah,
Execution.
I think we could do that.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's crush
Okay.
it.
All right.
Okay.
Are we-
What questions do you
we
have
putting
for
it
us?
out there?
Yeah.
We're putting it out there.
I'll call
Hit us
producers.
with
Don't
some-
worry.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, 100%.
so who's giving the massage?
Who's giving the massage?
Who's giving and who's receiving?
Who's giving the massage?
Who's giving the massage?
There's one question.
Yes.
There's not two-sided. Okay,
One
ready?
Okay,
Yeah.
you reveal.
Yeah, me for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely me.
You're giving the massage?
I'm giving the massage.
I said
Me for sure.
I
No,
said
you're not
me,
good at
that I'm giving the
massages.
massage.
Oh.
Well, so
Unless you
maybe
get to use a hypervolt.
So wait, this is good. This is like acts
Oh.
of service. So you're both acts of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting 10 years in for my fucking massage.
I give you massages.
What
This
the
is crap.
what the hell are you talking about?
I
You
think
recommend places that I can go for treatment to get a massage.
I also give massages.
What the
Yours only counts if it's a hypervolt. Otherwise, you squeeze very hard.
This is bullshit.
Okay, so take a sip of your cocktail and also.
Yeah.
Second question.
Yeah.
How many dates did it take before you kissed? Be specific. So think back.
Yep, we're ready.
We got it.
Wow.
One.
One.
Dang, y'all
Yep.
some hoes.
Took me 2 years.
I thought this was going to be the question that you would ask 45 minutes into the podcast. Okay, yeah.
Next.
No,
Next.
we diving in.
Yeah, this better get more difficult, Sherry.
Okay, let me go to a different one.
I would
just
say,
because I
it
think-
was on the first date, but Steven did ask permission, right? Kind of. Yeah.
It wasn't the first time we met. It was the first time that we went
That's
out.
true. It was the first time that we had
took
a
you to
proper
dinner. We went home.
date.
We watched The Professional, and we
Professional,
smooched.
Ooh, and did you ask? Did you say, excuse me, I would like to kiss you now?
It wasn't that formal, but there was some version of that, some iteration of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
All right, so
both sides.
I headbutted her, got her attention, let her eyes water for a little bit, and then said, "I'm coming to kiss you now."
Okay. Last and final of this round. What song would best describe your spouse in the bedroom?
That's a tricky one.
I mean, this is important because it shows like characteristics of how you see
Yeah.
your partner in the bedroom.
Yeah. I have mine too. I feel like, but you're like two different songs.
I am.
Okay. I'm not cheating. I'm not looking over there, but let me know. Are you ready?
She's a
Are you
mixtape.
ready?
I am ready. Just 1 second.
Oh, you're not ready.
And
I am like a mixtape, but there should be like a couple of different songs if
Yeah,
I think this should be
I'm sorry.
mood
I'm going
specific.
less song and more artists.
So am I.
Great. Okay.
Oh, see, look, we're already
You
in
can-
sync here.
Go ahead.
I
Cass.
know.
So for me, anything Alt J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What-
That's
okay.
for you.
That's for me, and then for you is anything XX.
Okay, so for me, I wrote the XX's entire first album, and for Cass, I wrote Alt J.
Yes,
You-
nailed
So I guess we
it.
know-
You
I guess we
keep
know what's
nailing
playing.
it.
I guess we know what's playing in the bedroom.
I
this
guess
evening.
so.
All
Like
right.
people, this is a personality type here,
I
and
think
also I
so.
feel like you guys, and I'm going to put a disclaimer here because I can't remember a lot of things that happened in the beginning in a sequential order because I'm old.
You guys have been together for a long time, though.
21 years. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I feel like my 20-year-old brain would totally answer certain questions differently than my 25-year-old brain now. So that's kind of like where it gets a little confusing.
Like when you guys started, you guys were listening to the soundtrack of The Bodyguard and stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whitney. Okay.
Pretty much.
Listen, she's
That
a
was-
legend.
that was-
No
that was
judgment
30
there.
That was 30 years ago, but I was,
Our first movie we ever saw together was Crouching Tiger
Hidden Dragon.
Hidden Dragon? Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
in the theaters.
That is, that was an interesting one.
Never saw it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Round 2. Okay, Rick and Sherry.
Yeah.
What are you most likely to argue about? So this is going to be one answer. You do one answer. We're going to see if they line up. What are you most likely to argue about?
Are we
This doesn't
keeping it
start an
real or are we
argument, but-
keeping it fun? Are we keeping it real or fun? Light and sweet or?
I'd say
Always
light and
light and
sweet, just
sweet.
like this cocktail.
Always
Let's keep
light
it in
and sweet.
theme. Let's keep it in theme.
Okay.
I don't actually know if I have an answer to, even when I was creating this list, I don't even know if I have answers to some of these things because it's not things that you really think about getting specific on, you know?
We're not going to get this right because I'm more specific and Rick is more light,
See if
which
we
is
get in the
pretty
same
much
ballpark.
our relationship. You ready? Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
wrote not understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth, and Rick said doing chores.
Well, maybe that's
Which
correct
is-
and lines up if you guys
It is-
if you're talking about doing chores. So there you go. There you go. I'll
Kind
take
of a
it.
point.
I'll take it. Okay, who spends the most money on personal items? Rick or Sherry? Who spends the most money on personal items?
Ready?
Okay, you guys are ready. That was a quick one.
Rick.
Let's go for it.
Rick.
Okay, Rick said Sherry.
you.
Sherry said Rick.
I
It's
got a question. Are you guys keeping it 100 here? Do you really do you both believe honestly? Do you honestly both believe with conviction what you just wrote down?
Yes, because you know why? Rick buys electronics, and electronics are more expensive than the things that I buy.
I think this is one of the reasons why you guys are a good couple because you can tell that you both really believe that what you wrote down is the correct answer. Except it can't be. There has to be an actual.
But maybe
like,
with
clear cut.
Sherry, it's quantity, right? Like maybe Sherry buys more stuff, but Rick buys more expensive stuff,
What if
so
you
it kind
guys-
of balances out.
Right. What if you guys actually spend the exact same amount on stuff, but you do it on just fundamentally different things?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
It's true.
That is true.
It's true. It's true because Rick's video games and beat making equipment and laptops, iPad. How many?
It's an
What
expensive hobby.
iPod are you on? What earbud are you on?
Oh God,
Number
don't get me
3.
started
I'm
on
on
this
11,
one.
11 for
Number
AirPods.
3,
At least
but
11. Yeah. No,
Here's the
wow.
thing. I can get them for free off points. So
There you go.
But that still counts as a spend because the points could be spent on something else.
It's marginally
Vacations.
free.
All right.
It's
when
marginally
she's
free.
spending her stuff on her stuff, and then I'm getting the points. Oh.
So here's one that I actually had the answer to pretty definitively on my end when I wrote this for us. What is your song on the dance floor?
Oh.
Like you go up to a wedding, you request a song, or charity event, something like
Like,
that.
For
What's your
ourselves or as a couple?
like? This is our song as a couple.
as a couple.
I know. I'm just actually gonna write down what I know that ours is and see if
We don't
you.
have to. I know what it is.
I don't know what our song is.
You gotta
Yeah.
come up with one.
We don't
Okay.
have. Me and Rick are
Wait.
unorthodox. We do not have a song
But if you guys had to pick
because
one,
we bonded.
couple.
we
We
have to
bond,
pick one.
when me
Okay.
and Rick bonded, we bonded over mixtapes and like let's put a bunch of songs on this album and like have sex.
Then think.
Let's think.
We got to think about what that's. I
Ooh,
know.
an album. Let's
I
do an
know.
album.
Okay.
Let's do an album.
All right.
while they're
Alright.
trying to figure this out.
Home by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Oh, that's not what I put on the
Is
dance
that not
floor.
what you put on
That's
the dance
karaoke.
floor?
That's karaoke. I'm gonna give you a second
on the-
round
on the dance
dance
floor?
floor specifically.
Come on, Eileen.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Come on, there it is.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? Oh. Okay, so I picked. Who did you pick?
Beyonce.
Dangerously in Love, Beyonce.
That's-
Oh,
That's your- that's-
I put 112 or Blackstreet.
Ooh, no
We
diggity.
We like that. When we first met, we used to always play those two albums in the car.
We played a lot of songs.
We did. We used to make mixtapes and put a bunch and then have sex to the mixtapes.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay, I've got
Nothing
one
wrong
more
with-
question for you guys before you
Okay.
kick it back
Okay,
to
That's
us.
cool.
Okay, and this is a trick question because you can't put yourselves ready.
Okay.
Which celebrity couple are you most like? Ooh. I think I have an idea.
Oh, that's
okay.
good.
And you know what? I'm gonna add a layer here. It doesn't have to be a current couple. It can be a couple. Well, it can be like a couple from the past. Like think of like some of the iconic '90s couples. You know what I mean? It could be something that's from the past. It doesn't have to be today.
Shit, that's a hard one.
That's hard.
I know,
That's a
it's
good
a hard
one, though.
one.
I mean,
Well, think about it.
I'll
Steve,
go
what do you
with
think?
Oh, I don't know.
But I feel like this is kind of
I know it's controversial
because I don't want to put myself on that level because it's like
I know, but people always said this about us in the very beginning.
But it's more to do with her than it is me.
Well, it was kind of both. Okay, you ready? Just 1, 2, 3.
Let's see it.
Who'd you put?
Jada and Will, both of you guys. Okay.
Listen,
I know.
she's more Jada than I am Will.
Well, in the beginning, people would always be like, especially in the industry, because Rick is kind of like, like funny and kind of lets me be me and a little more quiet, but then like comes out when he wants to. And I'm very like direct and like a little bit saucy. I'm not talking about all the controversial parts that's happened in the last few months with those two.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
I'm talking about the 90s
Let's
version.
talk about pre-2021. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. They've been an iconic couple for a long time. I see it. I think it fits.
Yes.
All right, hit us, Sherry. Okay, round 2. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So, what's a story your spouse tells to every new group of friends?
Ooh, so many. I'm married to a
One
storyteller.
story. Just narrow it down.
Ooh, okay.
It's one good story that either of you.
Oh my God, there's so many. I don't really know where to start with this.
It's a hard one because how do you narrow it down?
Yeah.
Plus, also, Steven is a storyteller and he loves to tell stories.
Right.
So maybe should I narrow it down to a vacation story? What's the one vacation story?
No, because he's already going over here. I've got nothing because there's so many and I'm flipping through and he's already got thoughts.
All right, I have all right,
Just
so
go with the first one you think.
If we want to know a vacation story, I know the answer.
Oh my God, I don't have an answer.
Yes, you do.
Steven's memory is
I know his memory.
It's really pretty damn good.
Okay, and I'm thinking about the one. So this is one you tell about me, and the one that I tell about you. I'm not gonna go.
I've got one.
There it is.
Okay, I've got one, and I tell it about Steven. Okay, I'm gonna put this essay on that, and then one that. So I tell it about him, but I'm the one that tells it. So I'm gonna put that. We're just gonna see if we line up in the same ballpark. Okay. Well,
okay.
Do you have an answer for both? Because I've got one here.
No, I've got one here. So I'm still thinking. So you guys filibuster for a second because I'm thinking about the
This is a tough one.
So I feel like when you're talking about a story that you tell, I feel like the story that I always tell about you is like how we met.
Yeah, that's the one I always give. And people love that story.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah.
But
you always tell it your way, which leaves out the facts.
No, because you know what? We did not kiss on the first date, people.
No,
I am no floozy.
We didn't.
It took some time.
What are you trying to say, Sherry?
A couple years.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Rick's like, can I get a kiss? I said no. And Rick asked me and I said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Hard to get. Okay, maybe I was just right.
Are you guys ready?
Dying on the vine of the story to tell about.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with mine. Okay, this is a story that I tell, but it's about you, and it's still today story.
Yeah, so I wrote down it's still today.
Yeah,
right here from our first vacation.
This is when we got married.
Yeah, it was season one of Arrow, and I was so exhausted. And one of the first nights on vacation down in the Caribbean, we flew down there. We had a bunch of drinks. We're at the beach. There's sun. There's champagne. There's this. We've just gotten engaged, and I fell asleep. Woke up fully expecting it to be the next morning. Walked out, and everyone was sort of getting dinner ready. And I looked around, and I went, "Wait, what's going on?" And they went, "We're getting dinner ready." And I went, "It's still today?"
And he was so excited.
Yay!
Because he thought that it was dinner the next day. And he was very confused. I had to show him a calendar. And when he found out that he didn't sleep away an entire day of vacation, kind of like a toddler with a nap that's like, I don't want a nap. I don't want to kill any of the day. Right. And he just was so pumped that it was still day one of vacation.
So you were in a deep sleep, Stephen, because usually that happens when you're like, it was a deep sleep.
It was a deep sleep. Like it was like I clearly needed the sleep because I put myself in a position where I woke up, I was completely disoriented. Plus, I'm in a new space. Like we had just moved into the villa that we were in, and I'm dying on the vine.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the one that you always tell. All right, you ready?
All right.
And this is actually about our daughter. So this is the Engage the Core story.
Oh yeah, it's
because almost all of he loves telling this story because we went to this amazing resort in the middle of the Indian Ocean in the Maldives, and there were all these water slides, 2-3 stories, and our daughter's a very proficient swimmer and always has been. So she was comfortable and pumped to go down these massive 3-story water slides, except for once she came out of the slide, she'd starfish because she just was 4 and just the velocity of these probably not regulated slides in the Indian Ocean.
That's right.
She would just go flying into the ocean and she'd go, and Steve would be waiting there at the bottom for her to catch her. And she'd go, oh, Dad, how do I do this slide properly? And he looks at her and goes, you gotta engage the core. Meanwhile, I'm at the top of the slide sending her down, so she comes back up and she's like, got it this time. So I'm recording her going down the slide and she's going, core, just trying to engage the core, because when Steven said engage the core, she goes, great, what does that mean?
Right.
And that is one that he loves telling.
Yeah.
That would be the one that you tell.
That would be the one that I tell.
And I can totally see you telling her that. And I remember when we were in Disney World, and I don't think Rick will ever do that slide again. Whatever that slide is, Mavi did.
Oh,
that huge
crazy one, the
drop,
wedgie
Steve, remember?
machine. Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, when we were at the
They have those at water parks
Yeah.
nationwide.
Yeah.
They're basically the free
The
fall
ones that
ones.
look like a cliff.
Yes.
It looks like it
Just go
drops down.
straight down.
It looks like it drops
And
down at
Rick
90
kind of
degrees.
flinched
Because it
on his
does.
way down. Rick like flinched like right as that drop, and I was like, oh. And he kind of opened the arms a little bit, and I was like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. No, you, me, and Sky watched from the bottom. It was
achy.
lovely.
Okay, so next up.
Next
If
time.
your partner, here, you can read that one.
Okay.
Ooh,
If your
okay.
partner could be compared to a cereal, what would it be?
Give them some
Cereal?
options.
Like a
Yeah, maybe like Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms,
Okay.
Honey Bunches of Oats, Rice Krispies, or Cocoa Puffs. What do you think?
And then we're going to ask you each why, because
Yeah,
that's
okay.
important.
What would I be?
I think you would be your Lucky Charms and Honey Bunches of Oats.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because you're very touchy feely,
I
like
got mine.
honey.
I got
Yes.
it. I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. All right, Steven.
Okay, so the cereal that Cassandra would be is just plain and simple. It's just whatever the healthiest cereal at Whole Foods is.
I wrote grain-free healthy shit. I didn't really specify, but grain-free, I think that covers it. I think that
And
counts.
you have me down as Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey
over
Nut
there?
Chex.
Honey Nut Chex. I have myself down as Lucky Charms. Come on.
amazing.
Well, I know, but that's like you always ask for Honey Nut Chex because that's the one like junk food you want me to
With
bring
respect,
in.
I ask for that because it's what I think I can get away with. What I want is Captain Crunch and Lucky Charms and Trix and Count Chocula and Golden Grams and Honeycomb.
I actually
and
thought that, but
Cinnamon
I
Toast Crunch.
couldn't write all of those things.
Well,
So wait,
I want
can he not-
all. By the way, we have our nanny that is with us right now. She's really lovely, and she asked on her grocery list for a bunch of different cereals.
Just the one.
Okay, but Cass is like, yeah, I tried my best, but I couldn't find it at Whole Foods. Meanwhile,
They don't carry it at Whole
I
Foods.
side-eyed her, and I'm like, I'll go to Ralph's. I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to use it as an
There's
excuse to
no-
get a bunch from me. We're going to get some whole milk, and it's going to be great.
Oh, man,
it's going to
okay.
be amazing.
One more, Sherry. Hit us with your best one.
Oh, that's too
yeah, no, give us a good one.
easy.
Don't
I
give us
feel
an
like
easy
we're
one.
doing pretty
Mm.
well.
I think we're doing pretty well too.
If
You
give
guys
us an
are doing
easy one, we
really
can always
well.
rapid fire it. while you're
Okay.
I'm really impressed.
Okay, here's an easy one. If
Yeah.
your spouse was a dog, what type of breed would they be?
Oh, I don't know.
And Skylar.
This is a
I don't
Skylar
think-
question,
I don't
guys.
think- I
We
don't
let
think-
Skylar say, she's like, I would love to ask Cass and Steven a question that I'm dying. I'm like, what are you dying to know? She's like, if they were dogs, what type of breed would they be? She thought long and hard about it, but she
Okay.
has answers for the both of you.
All right, so
I got my answers.
I have mine. Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Steven.
Yeah.
I'm going to write down what I wrote down for you. I said Black Lab.
Yeah, that's what I put down.
Great. What did you put down for me?
Skylar said the Full House dog for you, Steven.
Okay. Yeah, I put down Black Lab for me, and for Cass, I put down a cat.
I put how about a turtle?
See, I
I was gonna say-
I feel like it counts. I feel like it's not a dog.
It's not a dog. Oh, okay.
That's
Got it.
well, Cass is not like, I feel like turtle, snake, anything that's low maintenance is what I
I mean,
would
for
say.
me, it was with
Snake would have been my second choice, actually.
all I can think about is that De Niro speech in Meet the Parents, where he's talking about how dogs are easy, but cats you have to like earn their love and affection and stuff like that. So that's why I put that.
Close enough. And low maintenance. maintenance snake. I get that too. So maybe it's some combination of. All right. So as a transition, I'm going to ask you guys, and this is just me and Sherry asking you, Rick and Steven. You guys are pretty athletic. I know that, Rick, you said that you are not an athlete and Sherry is, but I think all of us.
No, I said that she thinks I'm not an athlete.
Oh, I think you are. But you guys are, so we watch a lot of sports together. We've been to some sports games together. We watch sports just at home together. We like watching things even when we're on vacation. We find a TV to go find the game, whatever the game may be.
Never watched the Lakers game together. We'd kill each other.
Yeah, that's true. That was mostly Sherry and Steven going to kill each other. I think Rick and I would just enjoy ourselves from 10 feet behind. So that said, what sport would you play if you could play professionally?
Together?
I mean, maybe both. Maybe both.
Basketball all the way.
I would say baseball, actually.
Why is that? Is that because of the demands of the game or your inclination towards athleticism or your passion for the sport?
I've always been fascinated by baseball. I like the team aspect of the sport insofar as you're on a team, like the Toronto Blue Jays, let's say. But when you're out in the field or when you're up at the plate, even though you're part of the collective, there's an individual element to it, right? Like sure. I would also pick golf, but that's entirely just you as a solo game. Yeah. I like the fact that you need to be in coordination with your teammates, but the individual responsibility lies heavily on you. And just I think that 162 game baseball schedule, and I mean it's my favorite sport to go in. Well, a high level basketball game and a hockey game and a football game I think they're all appreciably better live than baseball, but baseball is my favorite leisurely sport to go and watch. Like I'm going to go to Dodger Stadium tomorrow night, and a friend of ours got us amazing tickets, and nothing makes me happier than getting to a Dodger Stadium an hour before the game and just watching and listening.
Nice.
Skipping traffic.
I think I would play baseball better than I would basketball. But there's something about basketball that's just so like, it's just so exciting, and I suck at it. But
do you really? I assume that you had at least a couple like shifty moves.
I'm a terrible player.
Okay.
No, I'm a terrible player. But I love it so much, and yet baseball, I've always had an intrinsic affinity to play the game well. Yeah. But I don't know if I could choose, I would totally be on the floor next to I would want to play against those athletes if I could do it.
Well, I mean, the most showcasey of the sports by a factor of 10 is basketball, just with the intimacy and the players aren't wearing a ton. You can see their faces. There's no helmets.
Among other things.
Oh, can I choose for you? Can
all kinds of things moving around there.
They're wearing compressive athletic shorts. How hard are you looking?
I mean, but they have musculos. I will say this: baseball players' earnings. The baseball players' earnings, I wouldn't mind if you guys would play baseball because their contracts are massive and it's low injury. I mean, if you're a pitcher, you get like your torn labrum. I mean, there are some injuries, but you don't have to be in superb athletic shape to be a baseball player. No. So the wear and tear is a lot slower than at basketball or football. So I would love, the contract's like $400 million for 20 years or something.
Yeah, good work if you can get it. I'll tell you, I'll defy you to talk with that. I mean, obviously it's more of a death by 1,000 cuts things, but man, those baseball players, if you're a catcher or you're just an everyday player out in the field, talk to those guys right around now, and they call it the dog days of August for a reason. Those guys are, it's fucking hot outside. You're on your 9th day of a road trip, and it's a shitty getaway day game against the Florida Marlins, and you got to get up and try and play.
I think I would be a swimmer.
Oh.
I know that that's not technically, a big league sport, but you can do
it is every 4 years.
Every 4 years. And also I think that, you do well enough in any major sport and you can certainly make a career out of it.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would play tennis because I think the prestige of tennis is up there with like golf kind of, and you got to be really damn near like the skill level of tennis
I don't know,
I mean,
Sherry, I've
as we
seen you
know,
play tennis.
I do not know how to play tennis, guys. And my first serve,
I would watch her in the Nike tennis skirts.
Except for she
there
wasn't
you
wearing
go.
one. So the one time I got on a tennis court with Sherry Ann, I'm going to tell you right now, she was wearing jeans.
Oh boy.
And we went to our friend's charity tournament, and they had this sort of 1 point tournament. So like the first person to a point advances to the next round. It's all for charity. We're having a great time. I think I actually got to the semifinals.
I remember
You
this.
did.
Except for Sherry, they were down for like 2 people. So Sherry gets up there and she launches the ball in the air to serve it, runs after it and tried to murder it, right? Like smack it into the ground and jumped into it. And I go, Sherry, the hell are you doing out there? And she goes, I mean, you know, like that's how Serena does it. So I just thought that that's how I should do it. And I go, girl, you are not Serena.
Yeah, videotape it. It's exactly like Serena.
It's exactly like Serena. Yeah, and they ended up they gave her another chance. They gave her another chance. But yeah,
nice.
because there was an extra spot open. I will say it was a fun story. And I actually think you still had your cocktail in hand for it. To be honest.
I did.
I think
how
she
do
had
you
an
toss a
Aperol.
ball? How do you toss a ball?
She
with a
figured it
cocktail in your
out.
hand?
She like juggled the cocktail and the racket. I don't
between
know.
the pinky, and I was just like,
She had a cocktail in her hand. I mean, if that's not indicative of who I'm married to.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you guys is you guys are all sports enthusiasts. You're all sports enthusiasts. Who is the one athlete that you two would like to work with on screen? So they're coming over to your profession now. You know what you're thinking in terms of going on to the professional sports side. But if you could pick one athlete on really any project, I'm just speaking very generally here. You can paint the circumstances if you'd like.
Oh, wow.
So someone's gonna come on to season 3 of Heels, and I get to pick that person.
Or
Well, give me.
yes.
Sorry, if you give
You
me.
get to paint the circumstances.
if
Okay,
you give
someone's
me-
coming
if you
on
give me
season
a
3 of
game-
Heels.
If you give me a game with no parameters, it's paralysis by
you
analysis.
you like structure.
Well, it's
okay.
called a human condition. Someone's going to come on to season 3 of Heels.
Season 3 of Heels, and it is an athlete, a real professional athlete, any sport. I'm even going to say, like, I'm going to say alive. I'm going to say they have to currently be alive. Those are your
I already know.
No Andre the Giant.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
I would want to do something with Tiger Woods.
why?
Why?
I just think like, I don't know. I just feel like he's from a different, how he was raised and where he's from and what he's about is just completely different from where I'm from. And I just felt like that would make for like a really good, whatever we're doing. If it's a TV show or movie or whatever, I just felt like that contrast would be kind of fun to do.
So you think his mental, like how he can like
Oh, yeah.
separate pain from
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Maybe like, he's trying to teach this kid from New York how to like become a great golfer. And he's like trying to teach me the mental
feel like
science of it.
This is not much of a stretch. That's within the realm
No.
of possibility. That seems like,
I picked Charles Barkley.
just because he's
Oh,
entertaining.
That's a good one.
That's brilliant.
Well, I mean, yeah. First of all, he's going to be on a TV show. We're going to be spending all the fucking hours together, right? He's relaxed in front of the camera, but he would also know that he's not an actor, so he would take direction and be open to it. But then I could just talk with him about golfing with MJ and gambling stories and life working at TNT and his post-playing career. And also, he's done a really, 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 really wonderful job of navigating celebrity and getting to a place in the culture where very, very few people get to. Like Howard Stern is there, Charles Barkley is there. I can't really think of many more people that are on the list that he
Michael
can just.
Strahan, maybe?
Michael Strahan.
I think Mike Tyson's getting there.
Mike Tyson
no.
is kind of getting there. That's a
He's
great
kinda
call,
getting there.
Rick. He's at this point in time, Mike Tyson, in this weird roundabout way is kind of beloved and seen like almost like a teddy bear, which if you were alive in the early 90s would seem like quite a stretch when he was in jail for rape.
Not
But I mean, I've read some stories about Charles Barkley and the way that he interacts with fans that have actually informed the way that I go about things. So I just think that he would be a good hang for a couple of months. Georgia. Plus, he's
agree
based
with
out of
you.
Atlanta anyway.
Basically,
Big Arrow fan, Rick. He's a big Arrow fan. Chuck.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
Yeah, one night, quick story for a second? One night our friend
Yeah.
Adam was at Sushi Bar. We were filming. We were probably together. Yeah, we were in the Arrow Cave, and it was like 9:30 West Coast time, and my phone rings. It's a FaceTime. It's from Adam. And I'm like, something weird is going on here. And I answered it, and it was just Chuck staring back at me. Just Charles Barkley staring back at me. Hey, Steven. Oh, we're with Adam. We're with the TNT guys. Oh, we love your shows. Where's Ramsey? And I'm like, what the hell is going on right here? Anyway, that was a cool story.
Okay, so you're picking Charles Barkley based off of his entertainment value on set.
Plus acting. I mean, as we know, because you and I joke, the list of professional athletes that are wonderful at acting is
very limited.
Is very limited. In fact, I think we just went over it when you canceled my Andre the Giant pick, because he has like the third greatest performance ever by a professional athlete in a movie. It's not a long list, guys.
Right.
I couldn't play second base for the Blue Jays right now. Okay, like maybe I'd scratch out the occasional hit by accident, but I can act, and if the second baseman for the Blue Jays right now is not going to be on season 3 of Heels.
Right. So my theory about athletes not being able, not a lot of them have a lot of personality. This is not a knock on personalities. You guys have been
not at all.
six their whole lives. They've never had to try to make friends, or when you're really an elite athlete, you don't have to try hard to do much.
You don't have to be funny.
No,
you have to be laser. But I mean, these guys have a laser focus, and like for example, well, I don't know. I should have just said I'd love to keep working with James Harrison, because he was actually really excellent.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask, is athlete or not, what's your favorite on-set story? Who have you loved working with? What's your most memorable on-set story that made you go, oh shit, or that you just had to leave laughing in tears?
I mean, from a recency standpoint, for me, I'm just going to stick with Heels, because the Arrow stories, have been told. But I mean, long scenes with Chris Bauer on Heels, who plays Wild Bill, and just we're talking about like 5-6 page scenes, which is a new thing for me, coming from network television and going to premium cable and having scenes that just play a little bit differently. Just like that's been those interactions have been my favorite thus far, because Chris is just he's one of my favorite people to work with ever, and always just has so many interesting choices, and I just feel like I get to buckle in and just go wherever he wants to take the scene.
Mm-hmm. Rick,
what about you?
Yeah, that guy's incredible.
Any memorable from any set?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, I guess like for me, just as a whole, like when I worked on a TV show called Reaper many years ago, the idea of like creating a character in its own lane in terms of comedy, and trying to find like this tone and this like, I worked with this guy named Tyler Labine, who played a character named Sock, and he was so, big and loud like and fun.
Yeah, like
exactly. And I had to like sort of like find this other tone, and this sensitivity came about in terms of the character I was playing. So like finding the funny in that. And I think to me, that's always been like my recollection of like enjoying the process of acting and like working with them and learning comedy in such a different way. For me, it was always physical, and with this character, it was sort of like just more nuanced and just smaller.
Wasn't it drier? I feel like that was like
absolutely. It was like drier, and it was just like more succinct in terms of like finding. And so to me, finding his sensitivity was always like where the funny was, and just how vulnerable he allowed himself to be. So that was sort of like, for me, like my recollection of working, I think with the cast itself, is like that whole cast, we were just having so much fun, just like
that was a funny cast.
Slowing it down and just
that
having
stuff
a good time.
I miss doing comedy. I mean, Heels is a little bit of comedy, but I think back to like the 4 days on set that I had with New Girl 10-11 years ago, and I still think back to what a laugh riot that was. That stuff like that is good for the soul, I think.
Yeah,
it really is. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with, guys, where are we going on our next joint vacation?
Ooh. Well, maybe Disney.
Well, yeah, we've done Disney. That was amazing.
Okay.
I'm talking to let's talk bucket list here.
Ooh, bucket. Well, you guys have been in the Maldives.
Right.
We haven't been in the Maldives. Like honestly, you guys.
We got to catch up.
We got to catch up. You guys have like St. Bart's. Maybe we might make an appearance on your St. Bart's trip. A bit bucket list.
I'm talking bucket list. Like we're planning it. We're going for it. We both know that everyone is available next June. I just made that up. That's not a real thing.
I have a good one. I have a good one.
Okay.
I would say like a bucket list would be for the four of us, irrespective of the teams that are playing, to go to a fun city and go to 2 or 3 games of the NBA Finals.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I would sign up. Sign me the fuck up.
I feel like I'm reading. I feel like I'm reading the room here.
Out there.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it does
matter because
sure, I don't want to go. I don't. No offense to Oklahoma City,
Minneapolis,
but yeah.
But
I just think that it would be fun to go to a. It would probably be better if neither one of us had a serious rooting interest in the team. We're just there for like quality basketball. But it'd be fun if if it was in Golden State again, like going up to the Bay Area for a couple of games.
That'd be fun.
And nice restaurants.
I agree.
Yeah,
what do
it'd
you
be
guys
really
think?
fun.
That aside,
if we would go to that.
No, I'm just saying we're all obviously on board with that. But if you guys had to pick something different, so say we check what's number 2 on the bucket list.
I think. What do you guys think about maybe doing a safari?
Yes, I'm in. That's
I want to do Africa.
Like Rick. Here's a funny story. So Rick is on Kevin Love's Instagram, and he's like texting me. I'm about to ask Kevin Love where him and his wife are on their honeymoon because they went to an amazing like posh safari. So I'm like, are you gonna DM Kevin Love? He's like, absolutely.
I was just pulling her leg.
I know, and I was like, don't DM him. That's rude. You don't even know him. But wherever they went is where we need to go because that's kind of like.
I mean, the glamping safari market is robust.
I think there's options,
and it's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. But you want to go to Africa during their summer, which never worked with Aero because 2 weeks is not long enough to make your way to
Well,
that's a great call.
I can do some good travel planning. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. My beverage is about empty, but usually we like to end on a cheers. Stephen Amell and Rick Gonzalez joining Cassandra Jean Amell and Sherion Gonzalez. Guys, thanks for listening to Team Tequila Talks. She was getting her camera ready for that post photo that we always,
Rick,
this is where the music gets really loud.
We should play the Newlywed music for this.
We should walk around kissing everyone on the lips, stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, cheers.